Hey, welcome to Behind the Thrones. This is our season 8, episode 3 prediction show. We're also going to go through some of the parallels that at least Doku has been seen so far between season 1 and season 8. I've noticed a few parallels, but you might be going a little bit off the reservation, Doku. We'll see. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
Oh, not bad at all. But yeah, so what do you want to talk about? You're the one that's got this one mapped out. So, because I haven't even figured out exactly what I think is going to happen yet, other than half of the cast are going to die. You know, they're going to be without jobs. So they need to
Well,
call their agent.
I'm not sure if I would consider dying the same thing as being without a job. Like, unemployment and death, I'm not sure exactly the same thing.
Well, the actors, like HBO doesn't really kill the actors, do they? That is that in the contract? Huh.
Well, maybe if they worked for Disney, then.
I haven't seen Sean Bean in a while. Hmm.
Yeah, you never know. So,
Yeah,
no, before.
it might be in the contract. Hey, and Jesse, I see you in the chat, man. The link's in Discord if you have time and want to jump on. If not, thanks for stopping by and hanging out in the chat. Anyway, go ahead, Doku.
Yeah, so. I guess before we really get into it, I had a question for you. We've seen the first two episodes. So, tell me your four favorite scenes. I'm only giving you four.
All right. I know a lot of the other YouTubers kind of hated on this scene a little bit. It was kind of cheesy. Like I said before, it kind of reminded me of Neverending Story. But when John rode the dragon, I liked that mainly because I fucking called it.
That's one of mine as well.
All right. When John finds out that Lyanna was his mom, that was pretty good because he gives Sam that look like I'm gonna rip your fucking head off and shit down your neck there for a second. You know, you can see the emotions go through the actor's face. You know, he does a really good job of acting that. Those were both episode 1, right? So episode 2, the War Council, that scene was good, and when Brienne got knighted.
Yeah. All right. Well then, I guess I'm obliged to give mine. I like the scene with John riding Rhaegal, but specifically that one part where they go over the cliff and Rhaegal just does the nosedive. And it's not the cinematography that I like so much about it. I mean, it's good cinematography, don't get me wrong. But I think that scene is like it's preparing you for the fact that Undead Viserion is quick and nimble as shit. And the Night King clearly seems to be one hell of a dragon rider. So I feel like this is Rhaegal basically being like, hey, Jon Snow, you need a crash course in how to ride a dragon because you're going to go up against the Night King and he's got a dragon. We've already seen how quick and nimble and how destructive that motherfucker can be. So yeah, it feels like you're gonna know how I can't talk. You need to know how to ride a dragon, and I really, really hope in the next episode I want to see a duel between the Night King and Jon Snow on each of their dragons and just crazy fucking acrobatics and shit going on. That would be fucking awesome.
Yeah,
But go ahead.
oh yeah, keep going. Go ahead and give all the scenes that you liked. Yeah, because now when I'm thinking about it, I do have a theory now. So yeah, go ahead.
So no, I think my other favorite scene from the first episode is just that look between Bran and Jamie right at the end. As much as I hate cliffhangers, the look on Jamie's face is just like, oh shit. Like, I hated that, but now that I've had a chance to sit back and I guess kind of appreciate it for what it is, how it goes into the second episode, I don't mind that cliffhanger too much. It I think that was appropriate for what it was supposed to be anyways. As far as the second episode, definitely Brianna Tarth getting knighted. And then Podrick singing as everybody gets their sort of, little last goodbye kind of montage. It just gives you that sense of impending doom. I think that was absolutely perfect.
All right. So you want to talk about some of the parallels between season 1 and 8? I'm kind of following you on this one halfway because you do see, Oathbreaker and Widow's Well was ice, and now they're back at Winterfell, which is interesting. I didn't even really realize it either, but when Jon and Dany first show up to Winterfell, when they're coming in, that's the same music from season 1. I didn't realize that at first. Yeah, I did not realize that at first. So that's a direct parallel. They were aiming for that one.
Well, and also remember with Oathkeeper and Widow's Wail, again, the names of the swords are specifically the Valyrian steel swords. I think have a lot more meaning than we've actually really given them credit for. Because I mean, again, ice. Well, the first time we see Ice and Neddard Stark, what is he doing? He's about to execute someone from the Night's Watch who abandoned his post after seeing a White Walker. And what does he do? He's keeping his oath as Warden of the North. There must always be a Stark in Winterfell. He's an oath keeper. And again, Warden of the North. He's protecting the North. So there you have your parallel to the sword that Bran of Tarth now wields. And then you have its sister sword at this point, Widow's Wail, which you could argue ties into the Azor Ahai legend, or obviously other reasons, Red Wedding. Again, the names of these swords are significant in a certain way. So I find that very, very interesting.
Is there a reason why Jamie hasn't told the Starks that, hey, remember Ice? Yeah. That's where we got these two swords.
Again, to see both of those swords united now, because again, Jamie serving under Brienne, the one who turned her into, he knighted her, united by Widow's Wail of all things. I just find the parallel, even if it's just kind of a romanticism sort of thing, I still like the parallel between the two. Because they're both forged from what was, Neddard Stark's ice. Probably the only other character that could really hold a candle as far as being an honorable knight to Bran Tarth.
Yeah. No, and I totally kind of understand where you're going with there. And you could connect it to the Azor Ahai theory if Jon ends up with it and has to plunge it into Dany. But that's not going to happen. Jon already has, a sword. So I totally spaced the name of his sword right this second. Longclaw. There we go. But he already has one, so he doesn't need it. Arya already has a dagger. Sansa wouldn't know what to do with the sword. So, I mean, pretty sure the Lannisters are going to keep at least Widow's Well. Tyrion might get it if Jaime dies, right?
It's quite possible. I mean, again, I stand by my theory. The names of the swords are very important. Also, just to address the chat, Maddie, hello, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. But no, I do find it very interesting that all of these swords and their origins and how they end up with the hand in the hands that they do, like Jorah Mormont ending up with Heartsbane. You know, he's in love with Dany. It, uh, you know, it's I'm not going to say poetic justice, but it's poetic in its own way that these swords have these names that are it's almost destined that they end up in the hands that they do. It I don't know if it's intentional by accident. I would go out on a limb and say intentional, but it's fun to speculate on.
Yeah, absolutely. And how's it going, Farty?
What's up, Farty?
Okay, well,
So,
he's muted. But yeah, okay. So I don't know how important the swords are going to be exactly, but when it comes to their plan to use Bran as bait, Scooby Doo style, that's not going to end well. And if you look at what the dragon did to the wall, that was what, twice the size as the walls of Winterfell. Why exactly can't the Night's King just knock down the walls of Winterfell?
well, and the thing is about that, and I've seen a lot of other Game of Thrones YouTubers say like, "Oh, when the season 3 premiere, that's the Night King." It's like, no, that's not the Night King on that dragon. That's Drogon, and that's Dany. That's not the Night King. It you don't hear that iconic undead dragon howl. Like, where is the Night King? I don't think this plan is going to go according to plan, and I stick by my theory. We have never seen Bran look into the future. He only looks into the past, and he's only had fragmented visions. Dany has had sort of pseudo prophetic visions, but they're always very vague and very
Well, they're more detailed in the books. A lot
but
more
still
detailed.
they are, but they're not it's not in the same way where Bran can quite literally see what happened. They're cryptic. Detailed, yes, but they're still very cryptic. It
Well, and
I
isn't
stand by my
the way Brand's doing it is kind of like astro projection, right? Because he can move around in the time that he's in, right? Because he goes into the tower and he sees what's going on. There's
well,
no
and someone brought
werewood
up
inside the tower. There's no werewood in there. How exactly is he seeing it? Unless it's astral projection. And Maddie in the chat says, "You're saying the symbolism is foreshadowing in a way." Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what you were saying, right, Doku?
oh yeah, most definitely. Foreshadowing in a cryptic way, and the show likes to do those kind of cryptic things, even if it's something as simple as the name of a sword and whose hands it ends up in, or say the lyrics to a song, or just simply a saying like "There must always be a Stark in Winterfell." It there's always more meaning than just the words themselves, but you have to kind of read into the subtext and the nuance to figure out what that meaning actually is. Which it's what makes theory crafting so enjoyable about this show.
Well, and where exactly are the Krongmen? The Starks called everybody to Winterfell to fight the dead. Nobody came up from the neck at all. Where are they? Or did Dan and Dave just write them out of the show? Because George R. R. Martin said, when it comes to the books, I can't remember his freaking name, but the dad of the two kids that helped Bran, he was Ned's best friend, and he will show up in the books. George already said that in numerous interviews. So where the hell is he in the show?
We'll see if the show actually does something with that. But it's interesting you bring up the neck. Remember in the very opening scene, what happened to the one dude that the White Walker actually got and subsequently got the head tossed to the guy who then got executed by Neddard Stark, specifically got decapitated by ice? He cut him off. He cut off the neck. I wonder if that's where the Night King is. Is he going to cut off the neck and completely isolate the North?
That would be smart, because then there's nowhere to retreat to.
From a strategic standpoint, the only place you can go to at that point in time would be the Iron Islands.
No, because if you look at the map, where Winterfell is, they'll be surrounded, and they are far from going to where the Manderleys are. And that's the closest port. I'm looking
But
over
remember-
at my wall right now at the map, and
But
I don't
remember,
see how
Theon is in Winterfell. Who's to say Yara has actually left? They could potentially get to some boats. Because remember, they can't quote unquote swim. They might be able to walk through lakes. Bear Island might be screwed. The Iron Islands, though, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know, but I did notice when you brought up your favorite scenes from the last 2 episodes, that Arya scene wasn't in there. It is kind of creepy, isn't it? I don't know.
I mean, I want to see Arya and Gendry together. It's just it was a little bit kind of on the explicit, not explicit, but it's like you guys didn't really have to. I didn't need to see Arya's ass. Damn it! God damn it, HBO.
Yeah, I mean, the relationship itself, that the fans wanted that. They just didn't want to see it actually happen.
I didn't need that level of detail. Like, as long as I know Arya and Gendry are a thing, then I'm fine with that. We don't need like r/anime memes going on here. So it's okay, HBO. Stop with that.
But I brought that up for a reason. Do you think they're gonna go with the whole horror movie trope? Oh, she lost her virginity, now kill her off.
Okay, so this is something else that I've seen floating around. When Arya's running through the crypts, is she running from an undead Gendry? Because you see Arya after that kind of looking off into the distance. Do you think an undead Gendry is going to be coming for Arya? Because I wouldn't put it past Dan and Dave to do something like that, but if they do, like, fuck you guys. Like, finally just gave us the Arya Gendry relationship you want. If you just kill off Gendry like that and then make him chase down Arya as a fucking white, like, that'd be a real kick in the pants. No pun intended.
Take
your own damn pants off.
If I would have to bet, like, if we had a death pool going on, I think Gendry's going to survive this battle.
I think Gendry will survive as well, because who's going to sit at Storm's End?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He's the last Baratheon left, even though he's a bastard, but whatever. He's the last Baratheon. So if he dies, there goes the whole Baratheon line.
Well, no, so you can't really put it past them, though. They've killed off plenty of houses in their entirety before, so I just really hope. I don't think they'll kill off Gendry, but if they do that, fuck you, Dan and Dave.
I do think Brienne's gonna die. I think they ended her story with her being knighted, and she's gonna go out saving Jaime.
I agree, and the only reason I say that is from a storytelling standpoint. When we very first got introduced to her character, what did she want? What was her goal? She wanted to be a knight. Well, now she's a knight of the Seven Kingdoms. That was the name of the story. She is a descendant of Duncan the Tall, which the title of that book is A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. I think her story is pretty much wrapped up. And yeah.
That was weird. I came on and fucking instantly realised you guys were talking about Game of Thrones, and I instantly needed to take a shit. Game of Thrones is giving me the shits. Literally.
HBO flipped from laxatives into Game of Thrones, huh?
I mean, I never really talk. I hear people talk about Game of Thrones up until now, and it's like, I don't know. It must be like the sudden influx of Game of Thrones is just like, well, Jesus Christ, we need to expel some fucking grog boggy goodness out somewhere.
Tolerant.
You just gave the term "the final season" a whole new meaning.
It'll give you the shits.
Hey, at least we're not talking about a certain STD. I mean, Discovery show.
Oh God. Oh, we're not even gonna. Well, maybe towards the end of the stream we can get into a Star Trek.
Well, we could
Discovery.
always rip on Brie Larson and the fact that she doesn't have the ass of a 10-year-old boy, but the ass of a 70-year-old man.
Well, anytime you need a butt double.
I'm so sick of hearing about her. I don't even watch the fucking Avenger movies, and all I can fucking hear about is Brie fucking Larson. Can she just go hang herself already? I'm kidding, YouTube. Kidding.
I'm not. I have noticed one thing from the premiere though. Brie Larson's tits are missized. Her left one is way bigger than her right one. When she had that bloody plastic surgery, they should have fucking evened out her boobs.
Yeah, that's what happens when you fly through space. One side's closer to the sun, and the other side's just floating out in space.
Are you saying she burnt some of her tit off? Never mind. I don't care.
I was leaning more towards the side of spaghettification, being closer to a larger gravity, but you know.
No, I was thinking more that one's just joining her ass in sympathy and deflating.
Oh, hi, Melissa. Thank you for joining us at just the most wonderful point in time.
But all right. So back to Game of Thrones. So Bran, I really think he's a goner. But if he dies, then the living lose, right? So he's got that plot armor. So he's gonna survive this somehow. So how does he survive this? If I'm a knight, I don't even land. I just fly by, shoot my fucking blue flame at Theon. Whoop, there goes Theon, and do the same thing to Bran, and then I go have my dragon battle with Aegon or Jon, whatever the fuck you want to. That's why they called him Aegon. It rhymes with John. He wouldn't forget it.
John gone? Oh, John is gone.
Well, if he dies, well, all they need to do is just go get the Infinity Stones and then snap them and bring him back at the end.
Wrong franchise. Okay, so no, I have a theory. I doubt this is true, but maybe we'll find out. So I've stated plenty of times, I think Bran can only see into the past and the Night King can see into the future. I think they are two sides of the same coin. So when the Night King, back when he put his mark on Bran, I don't think the Night King actually wants to kill Bran. I think Bran, because he's been wrong before, is wrong about this. The White Walkers never talk. They don't communicate with humans. It's been a long-ass time. What I think the Night King wants from Bran is for him to communicate what he actually wants. I think he needs Bran to do that. So, but I think the only way he'd be able to communicate with anybody is by doing so in the Warg world, the Netherrealm, whatever you want to call it. I think the Night King needs to show Bran this was what was promised to me. This is the prince that was promised. This is the reason I decided to show up now, and you guys keep getting in my fucking way. I don't think you can actually defeat the Night King. Bran even says it himself. Can you kill him with Dragonfire? I don't know. No one's ever tried. I don't think you can. White Walkers maybe, but the Night King? Not so much. You gotta remember, he was created by having dragon glass shoved in his chest. I think the Night King needs Bran.
Was he constipated?
Or he's constipated.
That's an interesting theory. And the only thing going against it is the interview they did with the actor that plays the Night King. He said that he'll never talk. That's not going to happen. He also came out and said that the Night King is after somebody. And then Bran says it in the episode that he's the one the Night King's after. That might be a red herring. The Night King might be after Jon. Maybe Jon is what you're calling the prince who was promised.
Well, and that's the thing. You don't need the Night King to talk. We've already seen that the White Walkers are very fond of their symbology, and we've already seen that the Night King is very well aware of, like, when Bran is warging, he can communicate with him in that warg world, so to speak, and there's always symbology. You don't need the Night King to talk. The only thing the Night King needs to be able to do is show Bran either the future or the past. Because, Bran didn't even know who Jon Snow was until Samwell Tarly said, like, oh, yeah, no, they had an annulment. So Bran is not all-knowing, all-powerful, or omnipotent. So maybe the Night King's trying to be like, hey, look, bitch, I'm trying to tell you what I want. I don't want to kill you, but if I have to kill you in order to get what I want, I'm more than willing to do so. And we've seen the way the Night King looks at Jon Snow, which brings me to another one of my theories. The Night King having that dragon glass shoved in his heart. Well, who else has a scar in their heart who has been resurrected from the dead?
Yeah, I see where you're going there, but he wasn't stabbed with dragon glass, and it wasn't some weird tree wizard magic fucking ceremony.
But he's still alive, and so is the Night King, and we've seen the way the Night King looks at Jon. It's enough to make you scratch your head a little bit and wonder if there's not a little bit something more going on.
Well, there's got to be something. I mean, especially in the books. George didn't spend, 20 years of his life writing these books to just have some shitty fucking ending. I hope, anyway.
Well, and see, now the question becomes, if there's the prince that was promised, Oathkeeper, then Widow's Wail, the myth of Azor Ahai stabbing the sword through the heart of his wife, those two swords were forged from a sword called Ice. Then you have Jon Snow, who has, that scar in his heart. He's with Dany. I mean, are all these things coincidental? Is this just the showrunners and the writers and George R. R. Martin just screwing with us? Or is there a little bit more to it? Are they all interconnected? Because I feel like if it's not, it's a complete waste of something that could be a very beautifully woven narrative and all interconnected.
Okay, if you're going with this symbolism theory, what was the symbolism in Podrick's song that he sang? Well, or was that just harken back to, Tolkien and the Lord of the Rings and stuff?
Well,
just
Podrick,
Ormlodge or whatever.
The song that Podrick sung was Jenny's song, and that goes back to Summerhall, where there was the tragedy at Summerhall, where they tried to...
Were they all burnt alive inside the castle? Yeah, that's good foreshadowing there. I feel real confident that our heroes are going to live through this one.
Well, specifically because the reason it burnt down, they were trying to hatch dragons using wildfire, and that's what started that fire. That symbol we saw in episode 1, when we saw the White Walkers beyond the wall, that same symbol is very, very similar to the funeral pyre we saw when Dany actually managed to hatch her dragons. The symbols are almost the same. So if my theory about the Night King being able to see into the future is correct, maybe that's the reason he's actually finally deciding to, go beyond the wall and go get what was promised to him, i.e., keeping an oath.
What if he's not all knowing though, and him attacking Winterfell actually hatches dragons from the crypts? I've heard that theory bounced around a lot.
The
There's
ice dragon theory.
Well, the hatching dragons from stone. And the stone crypts would be, maybe there's some dragon eggs down there. The Targaryens did go north a long time ago. The gift is where the queen gifted part of the territory to the Night's Watch to expand their lands and where they can get their tax from to keep the Night's Watch.
And also remember that Dany said before Jon decided to go on his roller coaster ride with Rhaegal, she said the dragons don't like the North. Maybe there's a reason for that, because in the books and in the lore, the dragons don't really seem to have much of a problem with the North until, now that the wall's broken and the Night King's coming. Maybe the dragons even seem to have kind of a sense of things beyond of, the knowledge of man, so to speak.
Yeah, no, and there's a good question from the chat. Simon Phoenix says, when is Melisandre or Melisandre coming back? Yeah, when is she coming back? And is she can't show up in the next episode. That's a giant battle. So are they gonna run into her somewhere south?
Well, she said she was going to Volantis. I wouldn't be surprised if she's somehow already managed to find her way back in King's Landing through, say, Euron.
Yeah, I was going to say, besides, Dan and Dave have the magic Game of Thrones transporters provided by HBO. So she could have went there and back already, though
Gendry might have just rowed his boat across the Black Sea and just come back. Yeah, he seems to be quick enough.
Yeah, and that's one complaint. All right, so Gendry disappears for how many seasons? Just rowing, supposedly, and now he's a marathon runner. Either he's the tortoise or the hare. I'm confused.
We're gonna be making jokes and memes out of that for fucking years to come.
Yeah, just keep rowing. God damn, fucking Gendry. But yeah, I wonder if she'll pop up somewhere around King's Landing later in there's only 4 episodes left?
Yeah, we've only got 6, so we've got episode 3 coming up. So yeah, 4 episodes.
So that would be my answer when I think she's coming back, because the dead are there. They're at Winterfell, and she's not. So she can't just show up now, right?
Who knows?
Well, I'm with Melissa in the chat. I'll never understand. It's better this way. Yep, I'm with you.
And actually, that does remind me of something.
Okay, go ahead.
Melisandre did tell Varys, he was gonna die in this strange land as well. Well, he's in the crypts of Winterfell. If that's not strange, I don't know what is. His fate will be interesting.
I want to know what's going to happen in those crypts, for sure. Batman says Night King for president. Jensen would agree with you. Jensen is a backer of the Night King. But all right. So I said I think Brienne's gonna die. I think Jaime will survive the battle. Jon and Dany both are probably gonna survive. Bran, he has plot armor. So who's that leave to die? Tormund, Podrick, maybe Gendry. I mean, who's your death list here?
All right, so Tormund's gonna die. Brienne of Tarth is gonna die. Theon is gonna die. Those are my three. If I had to bet money, those are definitely my big three. They're kaput. I think Varys is gonna die.
I think you're wrong with Brienne. I think it's going to be Jaime's going to die saving Brienne.
No, I don't think so.
That's the way. He's a redeeming a character undergoing redemption for being a massive villain, and the way fiction usually works, they usually die somewhere close to the end. Plus, we're living in an age of feminism, so that's got to play into it for good or ill. Sometimes feminism actually does make the story good.
No, the reason I say Brienne of Tarth is gonna die and Jaime won't is because Brienne of Tarth, her story arc, harkening back to what I said, her whole thing was wanting to be a knight, and again, we have to look at the knighting ceremony. I charge you to be brave, protect the innocent, be just. Bran has done all those things. She wanted to be a knight. Her story arc is complete. This is the perfect time to kill her off. Jaime still has one last thing he needs to do.
I wonder if Arya's going to die.
Yeah, see, I don't know if Arya's going to die or not. I kind of, made that joke about horror movies, right? Well, she lost her virginity. Now it's time for her to die.
Get out of my head, man. I was going to say that. That's probably why she looked so upset at the end of her scene.
Well, hang on. Was there a point where she said that she'd be right back?
Oh.
Not yet.
But this is what I say. Brienne of Tarth, her story arc is done. The only thing she has left to do is fulfill her oath. Oathkeeper. Yet the names of the swords are important. The only thing she has to do now, she's a knight. Fulfill her oath. Jaime still has one of two things left to do. Either he needs to kill Cersei, or he needs to protect whoever the hell it is that is going to kill Cersei, because Cersei did not keep her oath. Nope. Hence the significance of Jaime knighting her with Widow's Wail.
What if, at the end, the Night King doesn't die, but he somehow manages to take Cersei?
Well, even Tyrion said, Tyrion said, if I get ripped apart, maybe I'll just go south and I'll rip Cersei apart. Either Jaime or Tyrion, or one of the two, is going to kill Cersei, and if not, Arya will pull her magic and go down and kill Cersei because she's still number one on the list. So, again, I don't think... I think Brienne of Tarth is going to go down like a boss, but she's going down, and if anyone dies trying to save her, it'll be Tormund, not Jaime.
Do you know what I think would be a funny twist for the end? The Night King's defeated. All the story arcs resolved, and Tyrion ends up on the Iron Throne. That would be brilliant. It'll not happen, but it would be brilliant.
Well, that's been a theory for quite some time now.
I do think Sansa will live. I think her ending is as Lady of Winterfell. So I think she's going to survive the whole thing.
No, but I hope not. What I'm hoping to happen is, somewhere around the end, they kill the undead dragon, right? And Sansa's keeping herself safe, as she always does, deep within Winterfell, and the dragon falls out of the skies and just, in its death throes, smashes Winterfell to pieces.
Oh, so hold on. What about this? So, what if ice ends up being reforged at the end? Oathkeeper and Widow's Wail end up getting reforged back into ice. Dany dies in childbirth. The Night King takes the baby. Tyrion ends up in Casterly Rock. Gendry ends up, or Arya, maybe both of them. They end up at Storm's End. Fuck off with Dorne. We don't need that. But ultimate end, if you look at the DVD box set of season 1, it's Ned Stark sitting on the Iron Throne, and he's wielding ice, and he looks depressed, despondent, like he never wanted to sit on the throne. So it's Jon Snow who's sitting on the Iron Throne with the reforged ice from a throne made of fire. And Dany is dead, and the Night King just fucks right the fuck back off to the north. Ice and fire.
You know,
Bittersweet.
The way it went with as that really turned me against Daenerys when as soon as Jon Snow told her who he really was, her only concern was, oh, I might lose the Iron Throne.
Well, and that's what would make it so bittersweet, is because Jon Snow does not want to be a ruler. He doesn't give a shit about the Iron Throne. He doesn't give a shit about his crown. And that's all that Dany ever fucking talks about.
Yeah.
So how bittersweet would it be if he has to give up his son because we don't even know if they can even defeat the Night King? He's walked through Dragonfire. We've already seen it.
Yep.
So what if the only way to defeat the Night King is to give him what he wanted, which is Jon Snow giving up his baby that he had with Daenerys, the only person besides Ygritte that he loved. Dany's dead, and now he's sitting on a throne he never wanted.
Two things. First of all, Jon Snow loves the North, right? And he has a tremendous bargaining chip. He can turn around to Daenerys and say, "You can have the Iron Throne. I'll renege all claims to it, so long as the North remains free." Right? He could do that, and he could bind it to that. The other thing is, I keep forgetting the name, but the fairy type creatures who created the Night King. Maybe they're the only ones who can defeat him, but they're afraid of him.
Oh, the children, but the children are all dead now, unless there's still a few hanging around in the Godswood.
There's probably a few.
But we don't know. We don't know if the show's actually even going to go down that road.
Yeah, but they were incredibly secretive, so you don't really know if they're all dead.
There's a possibility. I mean, again, that goes back to the whole Summer Hall and Jenny's song. Apparently Jenny claimed that she was a descendant of the Children of the Forest, and that's where that song comes from. So with the lyrics of that song is, in the halls of the kings that are gone, Jenny dances with her ghosts. The ones who she loved and the ones who were lost and the ones she doesn't remember their names. Like, that could be a really big hint as to what's about to happen.
There's another possibility as well. Jon Snow kills the Night King, right? But replaces him as well.
And then Bran's going to have to...
I've heard that theory going around.
Yep.
Because everybody thinks the original, the Night King himself was a Stark, right? Even you think that, right, Doku? I'm not convinced yet. They don't mention him as a Stark, other than Old Nan. And Old Nan isn't omnipotent. Like, she doesn't know everything.
Yeah.
There's no ice spiders. Have you seen any ice spiders? No.
See, I don't...
Yes, we have. They're the White Walkers, the dead ones.
I don't think the Night King is a Stark, just simply for the reason that the houses weren't established at the time of the First Men. I think he's probably like more of a progenitor, so to speak, of what became the Stark, the Starks, hence why they're the Warden of the North. They're charged to protect the North.
Then again, if the Night King was a Stark, it wouldn't be Jon Snow.
Well, and
that might be how we get rid of Sansa. She becomes the Night Queen. I mean, she's cold.
The only thing I could really believe, the Night King is a Stark is because the Starks are wards. So and they were actually at war with the Dreadfort, the Boltons for generations, and the Boltons would skin the Starks, right? Skin their enemies. Well, if the Starks were wargs, then it makes sense. They were skinning their dire wolves, right? You know what I mean? So, and the Night's King himself is a very powerful warg and a green seer. So that kind of has connections with the Starks as well.
The Three-Eyed Raven's power stems from the Children of the Forest as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, see, and that's what's weird though, because the Three-Eyed Raven was a Targaryen. He was
But that might be a big hint that the Children of the Forest aren't all dead.
Well, you have to remember the first men that were at war with the Children of the Forest, they came from Essos, which is also where the Targaryens came from.
Yep.
So it wouldn't be a stretch to say that, the blood of ice and the blood of fire don't necessarily, they don't share the exact same magical properties, but if you can ride a dragon or warg a human or a direwolf, there might be something similar to that, because we all saw how those pervy ass dragons looked at them.
Yeah. Oh, the silly idea is Jon Snow's not actually. What the hell are you called? Daenerys a Targaryen. He's Captain Scarlet.
Well, you know what I think? Here's what I think's happening here. Dan and Dave condensed a bunch of characters from the books. So I think Jon Snow's name is not Aegon. Because in the books you have Aegon coming over with the Golden Company.
Yeah,
right?
but then again, Sansa Stark is a combination of three separate characters.
Yeah, her dead mother, Lady Stoneheart.
No, she's a combination of three different characters in the books that were merged into one.
Oh, that's right. When she's pretending to be Littlefinger's niece or daughter or whatever the fuck. She actually, her inner dialogue actually goes by the other name. It's really weird.
You want, Farty?
What was that?
Farty told me, come on.
All right.
we just wanted to put in our sandwich orders. I want half roast beef, half pastrami, some pickles, cheddar cheese. Are you writing this down?
But the character.
In my imagination.
Yeah, the character Littlefinger. That's a nice way to talk about Peter Dinklage.
That was too easy, but it was good.
It was low-hanging fruit, but it was funny.
Another Peter Dinklage reference there.
And what's up, Ryan?
I just put Shirati's favourite song in the chat there.
And I'm on my phone, not in the chat.
If you change your mind, chicken dance on the first in line, chicken dance.
Oh, fuck right off.
My death
Have you
list.
noticed though that the theme music tells you who's going to win because it mentions the name of the actor all the time. Dinklage,
Well, no,
Peter Dinklage.
But no, Grey Worm's a goner. He's dead. He's
kaput.
Probably dead.
Hey, what's your
Danny
name
and
again?
John might have to. You think Danny and John might have to just fly the fuck out of there? They might be the only ones left. That would be some shit. Wouldn't it?
Another thing that keeps cropping up in fan theories, which kind of amuses me because I don't think it's real, but it's very plausible. That might not be Arya Stark.
Oh, you think it's the wife?
Hey, those masks, they don't just disguise your face; they change your body and give you the memories of the person whose face you're wearing, don't they? For all we know, it could be the faceless man himself.
I don't know,
still
just
going
between-
on not what you're speaking about.
Just between the
What?
interaction between Arya and John, I think that actually is Arya. Especially with like,
I
not even just
fucking hate
John,
that,
but her and her and Gendry as well. I think that's definitely Arya.
But yeah, you're saying that. But can you remember when she was disguised as what you call it? The guy who started the Red Wedding.
Yeah,
She
I
was
don't know. I
interacting.
think there's
She was
there's too
interacting-
much evidence to suggest it's actually Arya.
Yeah, but she was interacting with everybody around her, just like she was him.
No, you're right. The face does a glamour, kind of like Melisandre's necklace. What it did to her, which I'll never unsee that scene. By the way,
Mhm. We don't speak of that scene.
What scene?
The scene we
Wow.
don't speak of.
Oh, that scene that was coming up. Then there was all this that like visual static.
The scene where she takes the necklace off.
Yeah, and you get all this static on screen. You can't see anything.
I wasn't aware I was watching that movie. What was that horror movie? White Noise?
Yeah.
Something like that.
But I think Grey Worm's little girlfriend is dead too. I don't know how she's gonna die and not Danny though. Haven't worked that out. Unless what I said is true, and John and Danny have to fly away.
I'm still upset that Ramsay Bolton's girlfriend got killed because she was gorgeous.
And just as crazy as he was.
She was gorgeous, though. You can forgive a lot with a face like that.
She was psycho, dude.
Well, so was that Buddy Wilding who kept shooting arrows at Jon Snow.
Oh, you mean there was a female that was fucking insane?
There's been quite a few in Game of Thrones.
I didn't know Cortez was in it.
Hey, when you look at it, most of the women in Game of Thrones are unhinged, aren't they?
Oh, you mean there was some on screen instead of reality?
What about Davos? Is he gonna live or die?
He'll survive the next episode. I don't know if he'll survive towards the end of the series, though.
Why not? I could see Davos as John's Hand of the King.
One thing that makes me kind of amused with Jamie is he lost his sword at hand, right? It isn't beyond the bounds of reality for them to have made him a special hand that just had a sword blade on it. Which
All right, you know what?
Which would have given him back his ability to use a sword.
You know, if Davos dies, it'll be for one of two reasons. He'll either die trying to save that the little wildling girl we saw with the burnt face, or he'll die saving Gilly and Little Sam. It'll be one of the two. Either way, it'll happen in the crypts.
Yeah, I think Sam's going to just display a shitload of bravery. He's going to
George
go up
R.
with
R. Martin wrote this
glory.
script. Somebody's important is going to end up dead.
Yep.
Do you think Sam's gonna survive? Is he on the death list or
think
live?
so.
Sam's gonna live.
Yeah.
Well, now, if Sam lives, then Ed has to die. One of those three are gonna die. You know what I mean?
I think Sam's going to end up as what his father wanted him to become, and a lot more.
I just want to know when the Bloods are going to come into it. I mean, you already got the Crips.
No, those
Damn.
crypts. not
Oh,
crypts.
Jorah Mormont. He's also. I think he's gonna die.
Yeah.
Are you from Queensland, Party?
No, I'm from New South Wales. Queensland are like Canada, and Victorians are like Mexico. In fact, that's what we call them, Mexicans, because they're south of the border.
Well, I'm watching a show where a lady catches snakes in Queensland.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. Snakes
Alright,
and
so-
people catching them.
So Mad Dog, the Hound. Do you think the Hound is gonna
Yeah.
die?
If he does die, it's to save Arya.
So do you think? So if the Hound does die, do you think Arya will take his face and then kill the Mountain? Because he's also on her list.
We need Clegane Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh.
think the Hound's gonna live. I forgot about Clegane Bowl.
That was one of the most surprising things in the show. Early, kind of early on when Tyrion demanded trial by combat, and you thought the Mountain was beaten, didn't you? Yeah, because he'd had it. Yeah, he'd been incapacitated. He was on the ground. You thought he was going to be. He was beaten, and then when he just grabbed that guy's skull and crushed it.
Yeah, I was tricked in the book, but I had read the book already, so I knew what was coming in the show. I was just waiting.
Big Mary.
Oh, and also, can you just imagine if the Hound, Beric Dondarrion, Tormund, and Bran all die like within the first 30 minutes?
Yeah, I think Grey Worm will be the first to go. They're putting the Unsullied on the front line. He's a goner.
Oh no, the Dothraki are actually on the front, and it's the Unsullied that are right behind him. Which I don't know why you would put your cavalry on the front line and not on the flanks, but trailers can be deceiving. So
Yeah, how dark is this episode going to be? That's the problem. They always do their battles at night. That way it's cheaper. I get it. But the thing is, though, it's going to be kind of hard to see, huh?
Oh, what the hell do you call that Greyjoy who's after Cersei?
Euron.
Yeah, I mean, I can see him deciding he's had enough of her pissing around there, break oath with her, and just kidnap her.
Well, he said he wanted to fuck the queen. He got what he wanted, so he's already delivered the Golden Company. He fucked the queen. What's to keep him from just saying, fuck off?
No, absolutely nothing, really, because let's face it, he's tough, he's resourceful, but he's also in a lot of ways, he's a coward as well.
I don't even know if I really call him a coward, more of just a kind of a narcissistic prick. So
That too.
it wouldn't surprise me to see Euron just being like, all right, thanks. I'm going to go off to some random ass place I've been to. And just completely just leaving town and being like, all right, I'm done here. I mean, he doesn't have Yara anymore, and does he really even give that much of a shit about the Iron Islands or taking the
I think he'd rather have a tropical island, because he has called it a shithole quite a few times, hasn't he?
Well, it kind of is a shithole.
Yeah,
Even
it's not that good.
Yeah, even in the books, it's kind of fucked. But okay. So Sam, if he lives, how does he live? He refuses to go hide in the crypts.
He should have died when he first encountered that White Walker. He should have died there. I mean, but he survived. I mean, get a character like that who gets involved in any kind of combat in any other story, they get killed.
Yeah, well, he almost dies in the snowstorm where he goes to stop, and the other dude who had just been plotting to kill him saves him. It's really weird, but whatever.
Ain't has much in store for this one.
If I had to take a bet, who's the other guy from the Night's Watch? The one that looks like Benjen. I think
Ed, that's Dolores Ed or whatever, however you say his first name. But that's if Sam lives, Ed has to die. One of those three are going to die.
I think that's who's going to save Sam.
Hey, do you think Hodor's a Nightwalker now? or a White Walker now?
Definitely. And I can't wait to see him.
Hodor.
Oh,
And where's their giants? Don't they have undead giants?
Yeah.
Like, this battle needs to be freaking.
well, and that's
Yeah.
the thing. We didn't see the extent of the White Walkers' forces, and there was a comment saying that those battle plans you saw, that's an assumption.
Yeah. Because, I mean,
It,
the other thing is, when we have seen glimpses of the Night King's armies in like previous seasons, there have been walkers there that have sold the little modern bone.
well, again,
So-
go back
That's
go
gonna be
back and look at
a huge army.
go back and look at the intro. There's no reason for us to not believe that. Yeah, we have that line of White Walkers, and I did go back and count. There's at least 11, but if you go back and look at what's been said, Craster sacrificed at least 100 of his sons. And how many White Walkers have been killed? We've seen 1, 2,
3, I think.
3. Less at maximum 5 White Walkers that have been killed, tops, out of 100. So that still leaves them with 95. And if we go on the hierarchy of the way things work, if the Night King can create White Walkers out of babies, but it has to be a living human child, then there's nothing to say that a White Walker can't also raise the dead. So that would explain why when that one White Walker gets killed, all the whites, which presumably raised by that particular White Walker,
Yep.
also die.
That's
But-
how it works.
Yeah, so that means if there's 100,000 and there's 100 White Walkers, that means there's at least 1,000 whites under each one's command. So that doesn't even necessarily mean killing the Night King is going to destroy all of them, because they weren't raised from the dead. They're
And the-
still technically living creatures.
And the other thing is, we've only seen the human and with the giants, the humanoid contingent of the White Walkers army.
Which is also why I think
There's going to be a lot of undead animals there as well.
oh yeah, we've seen the undead bears. We've already seen that. We've seen what they can do. We've seen what the Night King can do when it comes. I mean, raising a dragon.
Yeah.
So even if you took out the Night King, does that mean all the White Walkers are going to die? Well, there's no guarantee of that. Brand even says even Dragonfire might not be able to kill the Night King. We've already seen him walk through Dragonfire. There's no guarantee they can actually even win.
There might be only one way to get rid of the Night King, and that might be to undo what was done to him to make him into the Night King.
Well, I tell you what, Doku, I'm not fucking gonna complain about you ever reading a fucking Mary Sue article again after this. Christ almighty.
I am. I've still got the drones ready for the strike.
Oh, come on. If you're going to take me out, you got to at least give MC his just desserts and take me out with a space rock. At least a space pebble.
Nah, the toilet seat from Mir.
No,
Oh,
actually, I was
God.
thinking about taking Brianna Wu to the moon and dropping her on him.
Ooh. Now that's just mean.
Like, who does that?
It's also useless. She'll just burn up on re-entry. You,
Oh, you're
just,
pulling a dead like me.
you just get a light dusting on her, on you.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah, I got that reference as well, Farty. God, she was one ugly girl, wasn't she?
I'd still fuck her. But then again, I'd fuck a black snake with a fested ass, so I don't know if you
Yeah, I
have
was
it
just going to say you're an Australian. Your opinion doesn't count here.
said.
All right, so did we leave anybody out on the who's gonna die or stay alive? I don't think so. I think we got all the main characters.
Oh,
what
Padre.
about
Oh, Tyrion. Yeah, Tyrion. I don't think he's gonna die though.
Tyrion's fine, but how about Podrick?
is that Brienne's squire?
Yeah.
No, he's gonna he's gonna die.
I would base
He's
that off of if Brienne dies or not. If she dies, they might let him live.
Yeah, I could see Podrick surviving this one. I don't know about the series, but at least the next episode.
And Thoros is a goner, or no, that's Barristan. Thoros is already dead. But no,
I think,
Dondarrion is dead.
I think Cersei has a really horrible fate in store for her.
Yeah, no, Cersei, we all know she's gonna die at the end. I mean, come on.
It might not be death. She's good, but she's going to be butt fucked right royally. But I've got to admit, what she did to those four bitches from Dawn, that was justice.
Oh, the sand snakes.
Yeah, where she poisoned the woman's daughters, and she was left in the cell opposite and had to watch them die.
Yeah, she's still down there too. They're Cersei's keeping her alive. That way she can watch her daughters rot away. That's nice.
Yeah.
Oh God, how great would it be if you see the sand snakes and whatever the hell's her name? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Just see them get resurrected and just rip Cersei apart.
I think Cersei would probably survive that. She might not be half as intelligent as she thinks she is, but she's a damn good survivor.
I'd laugh if the
I
sand
think
snakes
they'll-
came back at some tentacle porn type deal thing. They fuck her to death.
Are they gonna kill the little bear?
Oh yeah,
geez,
yeah,
that's
she'd
a
be
nice-
dead.
That's a nice way of talking about Peter Dinklage.
It's come here, I'll bite your ankles off.
So you think the Mormonts are dead then? If Jorah dies and she dies, there's no more Mormonts.
Well, yeah, House Umber's gone. Mormonts, they're done. Roy Royce, I believe is his name. They're done. Pretty much everybody besides the Starks, they're all dead.
Yeah.
Every other house in the north they're all gonna die. The Starks are
Well-
gonna be the only ones surviving because there
Robin,
always has to be a Stark in Winterfell. They're the wardens of the north.
Robin Aaron is still alive. He's at the Eyrie, but it is what it is.
But that's the Eyrie though. They're not one of the northern houses.
Yeah, but that's why the Royce guy is there. He's from the Eyrie, so
Yeah, but he's dead. He's definitely dead.
That really annoying little girl. Who's
that's
one
who I
of
was talking about. The little bear. Yeah, that's who I was talking about.
I think she's going to die because she might be tough and resourceful, but she's still a kid, and she's too arrogant to take good advice.
She might kill a walker, but she's dead.
Yeah, and she's going to die through her own arrogance.
Joshua in the chat says he thinks Cersei is going to be a white walker. Is that what you said? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what? So pretty much, she would be the Night King's wife or some shit. Kind of like the story about
The Night's Queen.
Yeah. There you go.
Actually, that's something interesting to bring up. If they do bring the Night's Queen into it, who do you think it'll be?
I think Josh was right. It'll be Cersei.
And then Jamie has to kill her. That's how the prophecy comes true.
Oh, dude, what if?
You reckon Jamie might get his hand back?
What if Dany dies in childbirth and then gets resurrected and she has to become the Night's Queen, but her and Jon Snow can never be together because Jon has to sit on the Iron Throne and she has to go back to the North with the prince that was promised. How fucked up of a bittersweet ending would that be?
Oh, what if Jon Snow is the prince that was promised?
But see, can he actually really turn him into a White Walker though? Because
We don't know that he can't. Let's face it,
I guess there's a potential.
Jon Snow has been proven to be abnormally special.
Well, it would suck for Dany as well because
Yeah.
she always wanted to sit on the Iron Throne. That's always been her goal, and she, that seems to be despite the fact that the army of the dead is literally knocking at the gates, and she's still so concerned about that damn Iron Throne. If she dies in childbirth, and then she gets to be with her son, they're both. She gets resurrected as a Night's Queen because we don't see any female White Walkers, so she gets resurrected as the Night's Queen. Her baby is the prince that was promised, and then Jon Snow has to sit on the Iron Throne, and they're forever separated by a wall.
No, they'll
How
just
much of
shoot. They'll just shoehorn Brie Larson in the end. She'll have all the Mary Sue powers and be all the White Walkers and the Queens and all that kind of shit, and inherit the throne and fucking yeah.
Michael
She'll
Burnham.
come down. She'll come
Michael
down with all
Burnham.
the pews.
Not
Michael
mention
Burnham.
that name again.
What Brie Larson?
No, Michael Burnham.
Yeah. Michael Burnham transports into the throne room.
The Red Angel.
Yeah. The Red Angel's brand. This
Oh.
all makes sense. Oh shit. Okay, now we're getting just out there. The last and the most important character for the entire story
Doctor Strange.
is Ghost.
Who?
What?
The wolf. Ghost. God damn it. See, Dan and Dave have cut him out of the freaking story so much you don't even remember the damn wolf.
I think it'd be hilarious if Ned Stark came back.
Ghost, Nymeria, the entire direwolf pack. Yeah, I think they're all dead.
Hasn't one of the direwolves been raised as a walker?
I don't think so. And we saw Ghost last episode. He was just kind of standing there, though.
What,
But he is there.
was Ghost Arias?
No, Ghost is
No,
Jon.
Ghost.
Nymeria is Arya's, and then Lady was Sansa's.
I think it'd be hilarious if Nymeria was still alive and Arya encountered Nymeria and the wolf walks up to her, cocks its leg and pisses all over her.
Well, Nymeria is still alive. Arya ran into her when she got back from Essos.
Oh yeah, she's gone wild again, hasn't she?
Yeah, and leading a giant wolf pack in the Riverlands, causing a shit ton of trouble.
But didn't the giant wolf get taken out by the Hulk on Asgard?
Yeah, that was Fenris.
But yeah. Anything else about this coming up episode? What's the deal breaker? If they fuck up this one thing, you'll be fucking pissed. What is that to you guys?
I don't think they can at the moment. It's too far in the it's too much in the middle for the be a deal breaker for me.
Too big to fail.
Yeah.
Too big of a.
I kind of think that Daenerys is going to do something to fuck things up.
Yeah. Well, and Jesse in the chat says, I think that the Hound is going to kill the Night King. That'd be kind of cool.
Does Daenerys?
But you know what the deal breaker to me would be? I think if the battle is so dark you could hardly see it, and it has no flow to it. I don't know. If they just try and redo the Battle of the Bastards, but this time with the dead, then I think they'll fuck it up.
I don't think they will, because every big major conflict that they've had in it so far has been different enough to be special. But when it comes to Daenerys, all of her victories have been at the hands of people who know how to wage war. Most of the time, they've had to basically put her in her place to get things done, haven't they?
Yeah, no, and I don't think they'll mess up the battle. They've spent most of the budget on the entire season on episode 3, from what I heard. So they went all out.
You realise that this show's turned us into a bunch of fangirls.
Yeah.
Who's we, sucker?
Yeah, I've got you're a fan fag, aren't you?
I'm not even a fan.
Yeah, you're just a girl.
All right, no, my deal breaker for this one.
Excuse
If
me.
the Night King dies in this episode,
Oh, God,
that will
what about-
piss me. That will piss me off.
What would annoy me is if they tried a redemption arc with the Night King.
Well, I don't think that's possible.
No.
But no, if they just kill
I'll
off
be
the
right
Night
back.
King, like, hey, the evil force of nature that we've been building up, and we haven't really seen do much except kill that one three-eyed raven, and then yeah, he dies. Like, that will piss me off. I don't care how many White Walkers you kill. I don't care how many whites you kill. If you kill the fucking Night King without providing us with some decent answers, that will piss me the fuck off. I will be mad at that point.
You know what sucks is you only got 6 episodes. You still have the Cersei plot to wrap up and this drama between Dany and Jon. They might just kill off the Night King.
Well, that's why I think you're not going to see the Night King until maybe like halfway through this episode. Again, there's plenty of whites, there's plenty of White Walkers. If they just decide to go ahead and kill off the Night King, like, this is my prediction, and I'm going to go with just episode titles. I think this episode will be The Long Night, because, yeah, the episode is sure as shit looking dark enough that would be appropriate. I think the next one will be The War for the Dawn. Then after that, it should be Azor Ahai, and then A Dream of Spring. Wait.
Yeah. One of them needs to be called A Dream for Spring, because that's the name of the last book that's going to be written. That's supposed to wrap up the whole story, at least, the books, But
see, I think the Night King. I think the Night King is not going to be in this episode that much. I think he's going to be more in episode 5. At least I hope this is the way they do it. Where this entire battle, because again, this goes back to what I said earlier. Bran has been wrong about things before. I don't think Bran is right when he says, "Oh, the Night King just wants an endless night. He just wants to wipe out memories of everything." I don't think that's the Night King's intention at all. I think the Night King.
I've got a question about the Night King. Yes, he's evil, but is he truly the villain? Because when you know why he exists, isn't the true villain the children of the forest who created him?
And I'm glad you brought that up, because if you look at the Children of the Forest, and if you think about it from the way that George R. R. Martin looks at things, he's already on record saying the bad guys are just, good guys playing for the other team, so to speak.
Yeah.
When you see that, that piece of dragon glass gets shoved into him, the Night King, who becomes the Night King, that he did not want to be the Night King. You can see the fear in his eyes. Now he's fucking pissed. But why did he choose to come back now? What were the Children of the Forest do? What did they say? They said, "Oh, well, we were at war with men. We were fighting you. You were our enemy. We had to create a weapon." Now the Night King's out. He took his revenge on the Children of the Forest. But why is he going after? Why is he going after men?
I've got an idea about that. I'll be back in a second.
Mhm.
But I'll be back in a second, but I've got an idea about that.
Okay, so I'll just finish my my thought real quick on this. So again, why did the Night King choose to come back now? He doesn't. I mean, if the Night King can take an ice spear and kill a dragon at Hardhome, are you telling me that the Night King couldn't have killed Jon Snow right then and there? There's obviously a parallel between Jon Snow being stabbed in the heart, the Night King having the dragon glass shoved in his heart. There's clearly something going on there. If he wanted to kill Jon Snow, he probably could have easily done so right then and there on the spot. I mean, we've seen what the Night King can do. That just wouldn't make any sense from a narrative perspective. Also, look like the symbols that he leaves, even within the first episode. The one White Walker lets the dude run away, as a warning. We're coming. The prince that was promised, Azor Ahai. Like, there's a lot of things to suggest that the Night King isn't here to just do what Bran says he thinks the goal is, and it's just, he just wants to kill everything because stereotypical demon. Good versus evil. No, it's not that simple. The Night King clearly has something he wants, or he feels like he's been slighted in some way. The Night King has a goal. I don't think it's a simple good versus evil kind of thing. Why would he take living children? Why would he allow Craster to just...
Well, real quick, Joshua in the chat says, the Night King is a reflection of man. What do you think? I mean, that's why I interrupted you, because he's talking to you pretty much, because you're the one ranting about the Night King, or postulating about him, anyway.
He also said previous to that I'd say that the true evil is the people that I went through in the Night King. Is the Night King the reflection of everybody else?
Well, I don't even think the Night King is just a reflection of man, but I think the Night King is more of a reflection. Okay, I'm going to go with my last final theory since it's not relevant, and I was saving it, but now is a better time than ever. Look at the faith of the seven. There's always seven. You look at that spiral, there's
Right.
8.
I'm back.
So what's the last one? When you look at the faith of the seven, and then you see the spiral, that's the children of the forest. The children of the forest worship the old gods.
Yep.
That's clearly what Bran, the Three-Eyed Raven, and the Night King, the warging abilities, there's always a Stark in Winterfell. That I would say is that final spiral, that final representation of the wheel. That's the Night King. The one thing that the realms of men have forgotten. The seven are everything else.
I've got something for you. The Night King, right? What was taken for the Night King? What does he want more than anything else? More than even revenge?
Well, no, he wants the prince that was promised.
No, it's more than that. That's just a thing. What the Night King had taken from him, what he wants more than anything else, is his
humanity.
And what can he never have?
His humanity. It's been taken from him.
Yeah, so what's he going to do? He wants to take humanity away from everybody else.
Well, remember why the Night King was created. He was one of the first men. They were chopping down the weirwood trees. They were at war with the children. He went there to make peace with them. And what did the children of the forest do? They turned him into the Night King to use him as a weapon. So if you look at the faith of the seven, you see the 7 realms, the 7 kingdoms, the faith of the 7, but there's always there's the other. But they're missing that eighth spiral. The spiral is what you always see in the Children of the Forest magic. And that's what created the Night King. The Night King is what you could consider, in the realms of Always Winter, that's the 8th realm, beyond the wall. This is us. So my theory is that everybody thinks that the Night King was created at the Godswood. I disagree with that. When you see that
because
scene where the Night,
the gods would
Well-
represent life. So it
well,
wouldn't
when
be
you see that scene where the Night King was created,
Mhm.
go all the way back to where we see Craster's child being taken to the lands of always winter, and you see those ice pillars around where you see him turn the baby.
Yep.
I think that because we already know from the lore, the children had already been pushed far north. I think that's the area where the Night King was created.
Like,
That's
when-
why there's that
I think
pedestal.
you're right, because when you look at it, like I said, the Godswood represents life. The Night King is death. So he's got to be created somewhere that represents death.
So that pedestal where he turns that baby into a White Walker, that is the same location where you see the Night King's birth.
Yep.
Back in Bran's vision, because you see those stone pillars. They're not the little stones that we see, but like Stonehenge-looking pillars. But now they're made of ice.
Yep.
That's the area the Night King was created.
There's
That's
another
why
thing
he's
about,
trying to.
another
Well,
thing
that's
about
why
the
he's trying to cut down. He's trying to cut down the weirwood trees. He's trying to do away with all that shit.
Mhm.
That's the lands of always winter. That's
There's
the
a- there's
location
another-
of the Night King's birth.
There's another thing about the Night King and the White Walkers. The army of the dead. They're undead. They're neither alive nor dead, right? But the Night King and the White Walkers are the exact opposite of alive. They're anti-life, if you want, for want of a better word.
Well, and see, wouldn't that be poetic though, if that location in the lands of always winter where the Night King was created, that's where he takes living human children and turns them into White Walkers?
Yep.
That would bring everything full circle, quite literally.
Yeah.
It is the wheel.
Yep.
So I think that one scene is exactly where that great weirwood tree, essentially the other end of the God's Eye that represents life, that one location in the lands of always winter, that's the one that represents death, and that's why the Night King brings the living and turns them to the side of death. He is the eighth spoke of the wheel, the one that everybody forgot.
Well, if
And
that's the
now
case,
he's
he
coming.
can't- If that's the
And
case,
now-
they can't get rid of him.
And now he's coming back because, again, there's an oath to be made. There's an oath keeper.
Yep.
He's coming back for the prince that was promised, and that's more likely than not Danny's baby. That's what the Night King
I
wants.
still think it would be poetic if it was actually John.
I think it was supposed to be John, but because John is now, well, not a baby, he's already been stabbed through the heart and resurrected by the Lord
Yeah.
of Light. A penance needs to be paid. That's why he looks at John, and that's why he's pissed. Like, you were supposed to be the prince. He's the Night King. John was supposed to be the prince that was promised. He's supposed to be the Song of Ice and Fire. But you fucking reneged on your promise. Now I'm going to come to get what's mine, and that's sitting in Danny's fucking belly. So, Azor Ahai all over again.
Well, the thing is, though, what brought the magic back to Westeros? Because the Night King was already there. At
Was
least.
the magic ever gone?
The candles stopped working, right? So that
The glass candles.
yeah, the glass candles, which is a way that you could see across distances and
Did the
stuff like
candles
that.
stop working, or did they just forget how to use them?
Honestly, I think what brought the magic back was the Red Comet. The Red Comet apparently only has been seen for how many times? And we even get that one line from the first season. The Red Comet only means one thing: dragons. Dragons are magic. Magic is now back in the world.
There's another thing. Why did the magic go?
Again, it's a cycle. It's a wheel.
Well, no. The Targaryens started keeping their dragons penned up. and the dragons slowly got smaller and smaller, and then they just wouldn't hatch anymore at all. That's how the dragons went away. That and the amount of dragons was cut in half after, the war, the Dance of the Dragons. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, imagine. Think about this. When in the series did we actually really start to see magic in this show, starting in season 1?
That was
And-
the Red Queen or the Red Priestess.
Well, we saw before anything, we saw 2 critical events. We saw the birth of dragons.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the red comet, and then we saw the White Walker cut the dude's head off in the first episode.
Don't forget
And
about
then-
fighting the direwolves, because there was no direwolves south of the wall either. So that was
Yeah.
kind of miraculous.
Yeah, so we saw first and foremost, we saw the White Walker cut the dude's head off.
Yep.
We saw the red comet. We saw the birth of dragons. We saw damn it, what was the other one? Blah. Now you got my thoughts all jumbled. But no, the big indicator for me is the red comet.
Another small indicator I'd say would be the giants. Giants are semi-magical when you think about it.
Well, and there was always wargs up beyond the wall. So there was always some magic in the world, but it was mainly centered around the lands of always winter. That's why I think I think the White Walkers, the others or whatever, I think they're the ones that brought the magic back. Either that or they awoke when the comment came.
Well, I would say it's always supposed to be supposed to be cyclical, like almost like the solar cycles or the cycle of planets.
I don't think the White Walkers were ever asleep, because what you call it was always giving his sons for as long as people can remember to the Night King, wasn't he? They were always
Yeah, that's true.
collecting, so they've always been there.
Oh no, and the other one, Bran getting pushed out of the tower. All
Yep.
of these events coincide within the first season. So again, it's a cyclical thing. So now, like, I would argue that if Dany had dragons in season 1, I don't think the Night King's power would have been strong enough to resurrect one. I
Yeah.
think it is very much, as Dany said, it's a wheel. And so
They're
now the
also-
wheel's coming full circle. So now magic is growing stronger and stronger and stronger.
There
Throughout-
are also wheels within wheels, because if you remember, Bran created Hodor by looking back into the past.
And that's the thing, because Bran didn't have visions or anything until he got pushed out of that tower.
Yep.
Dany didn't have her visions until well into, what was it, like season 2 or 3? So again, magic is coming back into the circle the same way that the wheel slowly turns. And eventually the magic has now flowed back into the world. It's strong enough that, hey, guess what? The White Walkers haven't been seen for 1,000 years. Yeah, they've just been waiting. Magic wasn't strong enough. The White Walkers were made from magic, just like how they say dragons are magic.
Mhm.
The time has come. It's the long night all over again. History repeats itself.
Do you think after they defeat the Night's King, because let's be honest, they're going to, do you think the seasons in Westeros are going to go to normal? That, because right now it's what, summer for 5 years, winter for 10. I mean, they have a really long season cycle here.
Well, they did say, and this also goes back to the first season, they did say it was one of the longest summers on record. So that would suggest that, again, just like the seasons, it is cyclical. So guess what? You have the long summer. Now it's the long night. I don't think that it's going to be necessarily that you defeat the Night King. It's a cyclical wheel. And breaking the wheel would be at, and we can just look at Samuel Tolley. Did you really break the wheel? Hey, you're no better than the Mad King. Burn them all. Well, you burned my father and my brother. Are you any better? Well intentioned or not.
And that's not how it's supposed to go either. When you capture a lord, you hold them hostage, basically. You don't burn them.
Yeah, but Danny didn't do that. And that's why I think Jon Snow is the integral part of this. Like, he is the linchpin because he is both Targaryen and Stark. He is the Song of Ice and Fire, which is why I don't know what direction they're going to take it. But if you want to break the wheel, it's not going to be Danny. It's not going to be Bran. It's not going to be the Night King. It's going to be Jon Snow. What he chooses to do is what's going to be that ultimately breaks the wheel, not just within the cycle of magic or repetitive history. It's going to be a lot more than that. But what direction they choose to go with that, I don't know.
The idea I like about Game of Thrones is the whole story is actually a post-apocalyptic story, and it's actually Earth, and they went through a nuclear war, and that's why the seasons are all fucked.
That wouldn't explain magic or dragons or giants.
Yeah, true. I know.
Or the Night King.
I remember some other YouTuber coming up with that theory. I was like, that's interesting because George does write a lot of sci-fi.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can tell that by the fantasy he's writing. But then again, you look at it, there's a lot of other fantasy elements in there. There's a lot of Arthurian shit in that in Game of Thrones, for one thing.
Well, you know what would be really shit though? You know what would be really shit though is that, like, at the end of this season, they fucking chuck a Lost and they put another really fucking crappy season on after it because the fans wouldn't shut up.
No, they start production on the spin-off show this summer, I think, or next summer, something like that. They're working on a spin-off.
I think they should have done more with the Stone Men as well.
I don't like how they messed up Dorne. Dorne's really interesting in the books, and they fucked it up. But hey, it is what it is.
And the threat shouldn't have been riding horses. I think they should have been riding kangaroos.
Nah, fucking put them on the backs of emus. They're more hardcore.
Yeah, well, if you did that, the Australians wouldn't be able to face them.
I keep maintaining we won that fucking war. We just sent the farmers on them.
We got about 20 minutes left here. Anything you want to shill, Doku?
Well, I guess I could drop the link to Exiled Opinions if you guys haven't already subbed to that. There you go.
This weekend with the Rotten Tomatoes drinking game, it looks like we might be doing Endgame just because it's fucking in the current event.
Oh God, yeah. But, no, I saw you. I saw you were on there last night, Farty. My internet was out, so I wasn't able to join.
Yeah, but that's also subject to change as well. So
yeah, we were having a laugh in the early hours of this morning. I keep forgetting his name, but he kept cutting out. You remember that, Farty?
JT.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah. He kept cutting out every time he was saying something. Apart from
that was
cutting out.
That was Frank that kept doing that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The only time he wasn't cutting out was when he was complaining about cutting out.
Yeah, he's going fucking Discord every time I fucking try and complain about it. It doesn't cut out, but then.
It was like this little comedian doing the old microphone act. If you remember that one.
Cutting
out.
And everybody should check out the website, pewdietube.com, right?
God, I still can't believe you fucking suggested that shit. That was Mad Dodge's suggestion, by the way.
Hey, there's one thing you've got to be thankful for in Game of Thrones, though. Yeah, and this is a firm theory of mine. I think the Night King, because he's ultimately going to lose, he's obviously a Dodgers fan.
Oh,
It has been a week.
I know, that's why I didn't bring that up. But no, I hope they hit this next episode out of the park. I really do. Hopefully, when we're doing our reaction, which we do a reaction stream on Sundays right after the show gets over. So check that out.
Hey, what would you want a spin-off show about? Or would you want a spin-off show?
You know what I want them to do is not what they're going to do, but they should either do Valyria when it explodes, pretty much, you know, or they should do something on the other side of the world, something in Ashai or something like that. That would be cool. You have a lot of magic elements and shit. It'd be cool.
Ashai by the Shadow would be fucking amazing.
And everybody can get their fucking diversity quotas in, because it would be freaking. It's more of an Asian culture that George mirrored that after, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, that would have been the Kingdom of damn it.
Oh,
I know the name.
Wu Tai or some shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Ashai by the Shadow is just a really weird, like, reclusive. I don't even know how to. It's like if India.
Game of Thrones world needs its own version of South America as well.
Well, they have that in Suthos.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in Suthos. They have some stuff like that. It's sparse to say the least. No, Ashai by the Shadow is like a really weird version. If you took the Silk Road and condensed it all into a really weird, sort of macabre version of it, and then threw some magic in there, that's what Ashai by the Shadow is like. It like poison rivers and shit.
You know how they could do it? Remember, Arya wants to go west of Westeros, right, and see what's out there.
Westeros.
Yeah. So, have her sail off at the end of Game of Thrones, and then have her as a main character on the spinoff, and have her, you know, kind of like a Gulliver's Travels type thing, and you could have all sorts of different places.
Well, dude, you don't even need to do that. Just do like a mini series with Euron and his travels around wherever the hell it is he's been.
Oh no, that one dude's still alive. Davos's friend, the pirate. He's already a pirate. There you go.
No, yeah, I mean, it would be more entertaining if you did Euron because, well, it's Euron. He's kind of a dick, but you just watching the slow descent into madness. You know, just seeing how that character actually became the way he was. I'd be on board with that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's a good idea. I know what they're not going to do. They're not going to do Dunk and Egg. George already said that they're not doing that.
Oh, they're not doing the Hedge Knight. They're not doing, which is kind of disappointing. I would like to see that, but you can't always get what you want.
But I'm kind of winding down here. So unless you guys got something else, Game of Thrones that you want to talk about, I think we should wrap it up.
Yeah.
Please.
I just want to see the Dance of the Dragons.
That would be a good spin-off, yeah. But all right, thank you everybody. We'll be back tomorrow, probably doing news. So we'll be back to the regular thing. Good night, good luck, and don't go to France. We're out of here.
And don't support the